Good evening, Free Enterprise community, and welcome in to a very hype match. We are in the round of 32 between Fleury14 and Soleras. I am joined tonight by my co-commentator, Couch. How are you tonight, Couch?
I'm doing all right, lady. Looks like we've got some pretty exciting objectives here. Looks like we get to drop Porm into the Agart well. I mean, who doesn't want to do that? And we get to cure the village mist with a package. We haven't seen too many package retrievals in the tournament so far. We've seen a few here and there, but I kind of like turning in the package because you get the cheeky check of that one boss and possible character check.
Yeah, plus you get to cure an entire village too. I mean, that's pretty exciting. Plus, I imagine objective number 4 is going to make a lot of people happy for all those that get a Porum in a seed or multiple Porums when they were hoping for a Rosa. So that's kind of like catharsis for them, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like we don't know who our starting character is yet, which is pretty exciting. I haven't seen who it is, so I'm pretty excited. What is your usual opening play in these flags? What do you go for when you start a race? Like every time, what do you go? Hey, let's go here.
So it depends on my objectives, right? So if I have a character objective, I'm going to check Baron in first. I want to know who's there. Sometimes I'll loop in Kaipo to check that character in the bed. If it's just a boss check, I may forego Baron to maybe save time. But even still, even just having the information is nice. Depending on who's in my party, I may loot Watery Pass for the density of checks and for the, maybe higher tier items. But, typically it's going to be Antlion, it's going to be Hobbs for the character check. I do see that we do start with a DKC. We have Get Tella, and we are running, so I do not see what the 4th objective is.
Pretty excited. We got a Palom start here as well as a rat tail. That could open up some things pretty early if we get that early hook. That's a free key item check, basically. The 5th objective is get Tella. I mean, who doesn't love a Tella? Tella being pretty popular in Zima Zone 3 due to Fu being banned, but Fu coming back kind of put Tella back in his place. What's your take on Tella? Do you like Tella?
You know what? I was off on Tella for a while, but I really do like getting Tella just because of the versatility he brings. I would much rather see him as a starting character than someone like a Porum. Even on these flag sets where you're not going to be finding a Stardust Rod, but you do have access to Blink. And he does have a higher HP pool that can help you survive some of these early boss checks.
See, I enjoy Tella, but I have a very big disdain for him through the vanilla speedruns. He can absolutely destroy your run sometimes. But we picked up a black sword so far in this Watery Pass, a bandana, a black belt. There's some pretty solid loot in here so far. That black sword being very advantageous in running into enemies, say that don't have the boss bit, can possibly proc a swoon on them. And you get the advantage of having that +5 to speed.
Yeah, these are some very good pickups. Actually, it really cannot be overstated how good these items our runners have picked up this early. I mean, you're lucky to find a bandana in all of 8 or 9 chests based on the fact that it's T-Pro coupled with, all items that are junk sell for 0. So, finding a black belt, finding a black sword, finding a bandana, it's going to help get our, our party. Once that DKC turns into a paladin, we'll help get him online and get him going. It's going to take us a little bit to get there, but the good thing is with that Palom, we're going to be having access to those tier 2 spells as soon as he gets some levels on him.
I just want to give a quick shout out to the sync. It is absolutely amazing.
Oh my God. Yeah. I was thinking as we're talking about, who's going to go, like what our routing is, Soleras and Fleury are pretty much in lockstep at the moment.
It's always pretty great to see people take these routes, see how they go, and see what the divergence is. I really like the play by Soleras here. The extra looting by Fleury can pay off. We'll see what ends up coming up in these chests. We don't have exit, so it's a small bit of a time loss here. That Dragon Whip could be useful, but not much in the backside of this waterfall. This Mount Hops check, though, could pull a Tella, giving us an objective pretty early. What's your take on an early objective? Do you like doing them, or do you like holding off on them?
Well, I like kind of like holding off on a boss check until later on. I mean, you can come back to it. You don't have to do it right away, and especially given the low power of your team, it's not something you can clear very early. Luckily for our runners, that is a water hag. That's a very free fight on Hobbs. That's also a cane. And, I did notice that Palom came with a bow and arrow. So that Palom comes back road glitch. Not as important here because this water hag, dies after 3 hits. It's a fairly easy fight. But, does have some power and actually does get access to a couple tier 2 spells by way of the experience gained from this fight.
The experience up here is very, very good. I tend to not skip this spot. 4,300 experience at the very first fight is superb versus Antlion, which is about 1,000. Just the amount of experience for a free fight and an early Kane, you really kind of need to get experience on Kane unless you get a good weapon on him to actually put any damage out. But this experience as well goes into Palom. We're a couple levels away just from getting Virus. That stop learn is pretty great. Virus will kind of carry us through the overworld. That Dancing Dagger pickup by Fleury that Soleras didn't get. Oh, actually, no, Soleras got it. I missed the pickup on it. But that Dancing Dagger can be very useful for Kane. We do about roughly 300 damage per fight, depending on the position.
Yeah, I mean, finding that free fight on Hobbs, that's not something that really happens all that often. I mean, I could think of maybe, 2 or 3 other bosses, maybe that would be quote unquote free, given this party. We do see both runners now going through Antlion, which is certainly the very logical choice. Has more than enough power to take on whatever's going to be here. And we do find a Bahamut, which I don't know that they will have to burn a Star Veil for. We see that that Cecil putting out 192 with that Black Sword. Soleras using that Flame Spear actually as an item, and then switching to the Dancing Dagger. So a lot of on the fly moves here, which I really like. Realizing that Dancing Dagger is going to do more damage than that Flame Spear, gets to that very easily.
Yeah, there's been a ton of great items early on that Flurries have been picking up. We got a full moon already in case we run across an edge. We've got just a myriad of pretty decent gear. I don't foresee much looting coming down the pipeline once we get into the later parts of this game.
Yeah, I'm laughing because that's a Cure 3 as a reward from that Bahamut. I don't know that I've ever seen a Cure 3 as a reward in my time playing Free Enterprise. So that's funny to me. But Soleras decides now to go to Fabul, and we'll be taking that fight. Fleury just finishing up with his fight, getting the fantastic news that that's just a Cure 3.
The great thing about Cure 3s, really early, they are extremely overpowered. If you run into like a Mylon Z or a D Lunar in like the Fabul spot, just throw a Cure 3 and you're pretty much through. There's really not much that they can do to stop that. Cure 3s are just pretty good all around to hold on to, and free fights in general this is one of them.
Um, it's great, and all early on, but it's one of these things that can absolutely come back to bite them later. If we do have to go down to the moon, if we have to go down, through the underworld, and you're not going to be seeing these free fights later, so it could lead to some spicy plays or some spicy checks as we progress into the seed.
Yeah, definitely. I really love seeing free bosses, just not super early. Fabul's kind of a good spot because you can get through them a little bit quicker than sitting through all their spells just by taking them out, because they get that split HP pool, which can make things go a little bit quicker than just standing there.
Well, we're finding free bosses. We're not finding much in the way of key items yet. That's 2 checks now, and now we get a moon veil, which is a good item of itself. Don't get me wrong. To your point, having that Cure 3, having this moon veil, are good. It's just, where are our key items right now?
Yeah, definitely. I foresee this being a magma key at Baron Inn. We'll see. Ordeals has kind of been one of those iffy checks for me. Like, if I don't have a Tella or if I don't have a Cecil, I'll probably hold off on it. But that Moon Veil can definitely provide heavy usage, especially if we run into like a very physical boss at the Leviathan spot or the Ashura spot in the underworld. That would be a quick, easy, free fight. Well, not necessarily free, but it could prove to be advantageous if you take like an Octomom at Leviathan. That Moon Veil would carry you through the fight. It would be a little on the slow side, but if you do get a good item from it, it could be advantageous.
Yeah, absolutely. We see Soleras running up Ordeals, which, is the right play. I don't want to say the right play, but it was the play I would make, I would say, because for me, I want to get Cecil to a Paladin as quickly as possible to start getting him levels, to start getting him online. Knowing we don't have much in the way of equipment for him at the moment, but the sooner, yeah. Well, and we're fighting his Ordeals fight a little early, I guess. He decided to get some fresh air, and this is another fight that's going to be completely free.
Yeah, definitely. This is probably one of the spots that you want to see Dark Knight Cecil. Some other spots, he can be extraordinarily rude. He can do thousands upon thousands of damage, and relatively quick in other spots. I really love seeing a Dark Knight Cecil pop up early, especially when it's in like a Mylon spot. It's free, I get it knocked out of the way, and I can just move on to the next boss without worrying too much.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm sure our runners are very happy to see that boss here. Speaking of other bosses that you would rather see now than later, this Kenazo, although the speed is going to make this a little a little awkward. I wonder if they'll be able to kind of cancel out these waves in time, but even if they can, if you can just get some damage off this Kenazo, it's going to really reduce the damage that the waves are going to be putting out to our runners.
Absolutely. I do want to bring up a little thing that I've kind of noticed throughout the tournament that I saw Soleras do on the save point. If you open your menu on a half step or not a full step off of the previous tile you were on, you can actually still use, like, say, a cabin from the old tile that you were on. So it's saving minuscule amounts of time by opening your menu during that little transition. But I've actually never really thought about it. I've seen people do it throughout this tournament, and it's definitely interesting, especially since recently the save points were kind of changed to not bring up that text box.
Yeah, that's something that I have done, not because I mean to, but just by complete accident. So,
Yeah, definitely.
It's a neat little trick that the more experienced runners do. I always get a kick out of it, just the way they're able to, kind of trigger that. And you can tell they're doing it purposely just by the way they move their characters. But yeah, to me, it's just another sign of an experienced runner. Just these little, tricks, ways to kind of pick up, time, even if it's, small, but all these small moments do add up over the course of a seed.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the only reason I know about that little trick is because it's carried over from the vanilla speedrun where we do the mist clip to move over the town of mist to go on the other side of it. You do half steps to do a tent, and then you do half steps to save and reset to kind of manipulate the map so you can reset on top of the town. But that pink tail is pretty sweet. What do you feel about that pink tail?
It's nice to see, right? Like, it's good to have an objective, but it's not one that you can do anything with right now. You still need the hook for it. So it's one of those, like, kind of glass, half full kind of things, or glass half empty, depending on your mindset or your feeling at the time, because that pink tail could lead to an Avenger, an Excal, something really nice, for that Cecil. But for me, it's for me, I sometimes I think catastrophic and think, well, gee, I wonder if that hook's waiting for me on the moon, and it's going to be another hour and before I can turn this pink tail in.
Totally fair. Whereas kind of I'm like, I've got a rat tail and a pink tail. If I find this hook in this next check, that's underground access, and I get to do one check and then an objective really quick before I go underground, and then I don't have to worry about going back to that cave ever again. We've got one check left, unless the Mist Dragon is very cheeky and is at the Maga Sister spot today.
Yeah, we do know that our runners are going to be finding either a magma key or a hook. They're not going to be finding the darkness crystal first. We do have to have a way underground first before going to the moon, but it does not mean that it has to be at an obvious spot like a Baron or an Antlion or through Fabul. It could absolutely be through an item turn-in, or rather a key item check by way of defeating the Mist Dragon. And to your point, that Mist Dragon could very well be hiding at that first boss spot in Zod, which, if the underground access is not through here, seasoned runners such as Soleras and Fleury will absolutely go to check that next.
Yeah, that can be one that can kind of stump people, like, especially newer runners. They run into it like, oh, I've done all these checks. I don't have a way underground. Little do they know they still have a couple boss checks at the Mist Cave or the Waterfall that we have not seen quite yet. And we still have that Maga Sister spot that is very free to go check, but will very, very rarely hold on to something that we need to actually take a peek at.
Well, two things. One, this fight's going to be, fairly easy for our runners. Two, how about second Cecil that we cannot take due to the no dupes flag that comes by way of the bracket flags? To me, that's disappointing. I don't know what your feelings are.
I just want to give a huge shout out to Soleras here for using that Blizzard Spear as a battle item. Not a lot of people know much about how the battle items work. There's quite a few items that you don't think would actually do anything, but actually do a fair amount. Like these dancing daggers, they can carry you through the early game. If you get a Blizzard Spear or a Flame Spear, using them as an item can carry you through the game because they've got damage potential. And Earth Hammer is very huge because you can use the Earth Hammer as a as an item and get it's low powered, but you can get it as a Quake cast.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen Soleras making work of that Flame Spear earlier. The Dancing Daggers one, I think a lot of people know, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Getting that Flame Spear use, getting that Blizzard Spear use, We don't have access to a white spirit, but that's another one. But that cane is providing a lot of utility right now. Gets the HP run out on the Vigan here.
A good old virus cast.
Yeah. By way of the virus giving the sap, it just always cracks me up. And this is here's likely our only underground access by way of the hook. So you love to see it. Maybe I'm sure our runners don't, but hook seeds are always very entertaining as a commentator and as a watcher.
I just want to see an evil wall at King Queen Eblon. I really love seeing very rude bosses at King Queen Eblon. It makes me happy inside because I've had to deal with them multiple times. It's always good to see. Those silk webs are a fantastic find as well. We see Soleras picking up 1. I usually pick up 2, 3, depending on how I feel about the seed. Like my current party, I'd probably pick up 2. We're taking a peek for demist here just to make sure we don't run into the magma key.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. You're here. It's right by Baron. If it's a or
an objective.
Or an objective in this case. So, okay. It's not an out of the way one. Soleras is doing this now. Fleury's going to be checking this at some point, even if it's not now. So it's an obvious one, but it's one that's he gets out of the way. Soleras, a heron robe as a pickup. Wow, just
dang.
Yeah, what a nice just dive in, grab a casual heron robe, and then just dive out.
This is a pretty great seed so far, to be honest. I mean, we've got an objective out of the way, we've got a rat tail and a pink tail, which is going to be a second objective out of the way, meaning we have our two objectives. We need to find just 2 more. Cave Magnus could just be a twin harp, and Tella could be, Tella could be on the giant for all we know.
Yeah, the way the seed is going, though, I'm expecting to find Tella at the hook route, and I'm trying to think. I mean, we just saw a Golbez there at Watery Pass, so that's another rude boss out of the way. I mean, who can we see at King Queen? Like, who do you want to see, knowing that
Evil
Wall at King Queen Evelyn?
Without a doubt.
And then who would be probably the rudest boss at
Ogopogo? Evil Wall and Ogo. Just make it the cake, the icing on the cake. Just call it a day, and we'll be good.
Yeah, I want to see somebody. I want to see 2 rude bosses back to back. I mean, this seed has just been so nice, just so kind to the runners that it's so. I don't want to say it's so free, but we have a Cane, we have a Cecil, we have a Palom. This is not power overwhelming, but it's pretty shocking how easy this has been, I would say.
Yeah, this has been a pretty easy seed, I want to say. We could just get a Masa from the pink tail, or was that the rat tail? No, that was the pink tail. Okay. Ooh, a package. Maybe we'll see the check. Maybe we'll see a foo from the package. Would you take that foo if you see it at the package?
That's a very I hesitate, but no. For me, you absolutely take that foo. The reason is, Nuke. Nuke is the #1 reason why I would take that foo. Even if he doesn't start with it right now, Nuke just blows up the seed, even more than a Cecil does, because we don't have an X-Cal or a Crystal Sword, nor do we know that we're getting one. You're going to be getting foo with Nuke once we've defeated the, requisite number of bosses.
We're getting a character check from both of them. So if we see a good character here, we got an Eddie. That's an auto reset in my opinion.
You mean Eddie's not as good as Foo? I'm a little shocked to hear that.
Eddie would be great if we have an evil wall at King Queen Eblon.
Well, this is Swiss, right? We still have the spoon flag turned on, right?
Oh, I wish. That'd be fantastic.
Oh, you're saying we have it turned off for because of the brackets.
Yeah, unfortunately. Soleras finding that trap chest early, which is very good. The good news is I want to say that those golems are weak to ice, and that Blizzard Spear may prove to be advantageous. But finding that chest early as well means like, hey, I can loot the whole dungeon, whereas Fleury has not checked it yet. It's like, I'm not going to check anything. So Soleras could find something here that proves to be very, very helpful. And this is a pretty stacked shot. The Hourglass 2s and Sirens, come on.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, speaking of just giving away the goods here, I mean, we don't have to hunt for sirens. We have hourglasses, so if we, come across the Baron guards or the Kaipo guards, that's just a very easy way to make that fight even more free. But that's a very interesting point you make. Fleury's just diving past all these chests. Soleras resetting out of that first encounter.
Speaking of foo, that is a sparkle though. Ogo Dream is possible.
Yes, the Ogo Dream is still alive, but that's a foo. So if we do have an Ogo that renders that foo a little less valuable, but still very valuable. Because of that access to blink. Soleras, picks up an illusion, picks up another bandana. Another black belt. So is finding some things that might help push him through, this these two bosses maybe a little bit faster than Fleury will have access to, unless he's planning on going back and looting.
Fortunately, Soleras here getting the menu boss. So I have a good idea. I don't know if it's necessarily good, but my strategy is when I go to a shop for the first time, I just empty my inventory of stuff I don't want instead of waiting to end up in the situation like Soleras does, where you have a full inventory, you pop open a chest, and you're like, oh, I got to find stuff to dump here. Whereas Soleras was just at a shop, Soleras could have gone like, sell. Granted, you're selling for 0. You're not getting anything back from it, but you're emptying your inventory. I don't know. I've kind of taken on the sell everything. That crystal armlet on Fleury's side was.
Yeah, that's great
pretty good.
Yeah, Fleury opting instead to go through this, Ebelin Castle to take on, I would have to imagine, if not one, maybe all 3 of these trap chests to get the experience, on their characters, knowing that there is a sparkle at the Rubicante spot, could be a very good play to make. I'd be very interested to see how Soleras is going to go, if they're just going to dive down down Babel, or if they're going to try to take, an encounter as well.
So the one thing that I'm really kind of hoping for, besides Ogo Pogo, is a Wyvern at Ruby. And since Wyvern can't block the underground, Mist Dragon being at the Maga Sister spot, holding the Magma Key, that would just make my day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And honestly, it's not something I thought about until now, but yeah, we do still have to worry about our agility setup, which speaking of, I see Soleras, going into the status screen, looking at his characters, I have to imagine is doing some agility, looking at the agility of his characters and maybe doing some setup, to get ready for, whoever's down at these 2 spots.
Yeah, definitely. And I see Possum in chat saying that Fleury's kind of having flashbacks to the Zima Stone 3 tournament, running into Ogo at the Ruby spot. Ogo at Ruby is absolutely no joke. That is a very, very tough fight. Making sure you have the levels to survive, having the damage to get through, it can be tough. Soleras is making that dive. So we're probably going to find out who it is beforehand. If we see a Wyvern, Flurry can make a cheeky call and go to the Tower of Zot and find that Mist Dragon. Maybe Mist Dragon could be a King Queen Eblon holding the Magma Key. Who knows?
Now, I guess let me ask you a question. If you do see a Wyvern or an Ogopogo, would you back out and check that Zot? Or is... I've never seen anybody actually back out to check Zot. So I'd be curious if that's something that you would do at any given point.
If I find a Wyvern, absolutely, I'm going to back out. I'm going to go check that Mist Dragon at the Magus Sister spot. If I see an Ogo, I'm just going to go for Ogo. Ogo's difficult, yes, but if you're a little bit of an experienced player, you kind of know how to handle it. You're only really looking at partial damage from the wave, and the physical's not too bad there. You can get through it with the blinks from Fu. If you just straight up Zerk, your Cecil with an Ogre Axe, or your Kane with an Ogre Axe, you'll be pretty good.
Yeah, and as you did point out earlier, that I just didn't quite pick up in my head. We do the fact that, like you said, Wyvern can't block our way underground. Means right that if he's there, then our underground access would have to come by way of the Magma Key. I was thinking that since we had access to the hook, that would mean that he can't. We've already have access to the underground, right? But we're not through the underground yet until we get to those two spots. So yeah, that makes absolute sense.
Yeah. Like I said, if I find a Wyvern here, I'm absolutely abandoning this check. I'm gonna run back. I'm gonna go get my... Was that another crystal band? Oh my goodness.
Was that
2 rune axes, 2 crystal bands in Evlom. It's Flurry's taken in all of the loot.
Yeah, there's some very good loot here. Really, I mean, this whole seed, there really has not been a bad place for loot. You can easily run into where you open 8-9 chests and find 6 of them are junk, and maybe 1 is decent-ish, but there's been just pickup after pickup was just really, really good.
Yeah, definitely. And we're about to see who this King Queen boss is. It's another Sparkle. If one of these is Wyvern, we know that it can't be trapped underground. Plague here isn't too bad. We're just gonna basically cast our way through it with white. Since we don't have Nuke yet, we may get it after this fight. Who knows? An Excalibur on Flurry's side that's pretty huge.
Wow. So that could. Yeah, that could, Soleras is at this Plague fight first, but having that Excal is, that's very huge. I wonder, if that could make up the difference that Soleras has right now in his lead. The one thing that, I don't believe either of us mentioned is the fact that, Soleras starts by way of having a better record. Starts at 1-0, so if he wins one match, he's moving on to the next round. So Fleury is playing behind as it is. You got to wonder what kind of play he's going to have to make to kind of catch up to Soleras in this race.
Yeah, definitely. Seeing D-Lunars here tells me that this is our path underground. Shouldn't be too bad. We're going to do that multicast with Cure 4. I saw Soleras kind of looking at white. That's really not the take you want to go here. You're going to do your best and just go solo magic. D-Lunars are pretty rough. They've got a very strict script. If you don't physically attack them, they go physical attack, fire, physical attack 4 times. And then they do a little spell called Breath. I'm wondering if we're going to see a Starveil come up here and possibly see some Lunar Frogs coming.
Yeah, we do see the, Starveil being queued up. Yeah, it looks like lunar frogs were on the table. I was kind of thinking at first what would be faster to kind of burn them down, or wait for the lunar frogs. But the thing is, even if you turn them into lunar frogs, you still have to burn through all of their HP to get through this. So it makes sense to, kind of hit them with the cure floors with magic while you wait on this, kind of longer script to play out. There goes the frogs, and now as Fleury goes into their plague fight, this now is just a completely free fight for Soleras. We see Fleury get through that plague fight, relative ease, throwing out an ice 3, over 4,000 damage. I can't imagine is going to walk up to this Sparkle without a save. We'll be taking that safety save. We'll be heading back, and we'll be getting the good news of the Lunars as soon as they head on back.
So I like the safety on Fleury's side of going back and saving before doing this, because if you run an Ogo and you take a wipe, you have to go back through the Plague again, and it can be pretty rough. I'd almost take the risk of berserking Cecil here with that holy damage on that Excalibur. The virus, the magic power here isn't too strong. It's not that bad. Virus can hurt.
Yeah, I kind of wondered that myself. If an Excal Cecil could burn through this pretty quickly, although that to me it seems like a lot of damage. But you're a way more experienced runner than I am. You would obviously know, how quickly you could get through this and if that's viable. So I would absolutely defer to you on that.
I mean, you've got a Flame Seer, you've got an Excal, you've got a Quake Kid, and you've got a Fu. My personal opinion is I would absolutely go for the Berserk Cecil and just keep throwing Quakes and jumping with Kane. But I see the safety here just to make sure that you don't take that wipe, because that wipe can throw you back pretty far. And we've got a CPU at the top of tower. Do you go top of tower here? Do you take that cheeky check and see what you can do, or do you just do your free checks with your Yang 1 and your Fame Arc and get out of the way?
For me, I don't like doing top of tower with. I don't like doing tower without key, and especially seeing that CPU there, knowing the amount of HP that spot has, I really want nothing to do with that. Now, if I'm, say I'm Soleras and I'm going against Fleury, maybe I take that CPU just to be cheeky and say I know I have to do something, take a risk that would put me ahead. But Soleras is a very very excellent runner of his own caliber.
Yeah.
I don't think has to pull any kind of risky play like that. Is interesting that they're going to be going to Dwarf first. Usually you see people pick up their freebies here. I wonder what you think about this play.
I think the Dwarf check, I mean, it's obviously a boss check / possible item check. We could see a Wyvern here. Wyvern at Dolls can be a little bit rough depending on who you have as an anchor. I usually go to Dwarf Castle first just to check on my items in the shop, which could lead me to something good. I mean, we've already seen sirens and hourglasses. Coffins would be about the only thing that I'm looking for. But I kind of like this. That rum buffer getting off in time. We'll probably get through this fight no problem. Two star veils off. That's pretty dang good. We're gonna see Wyvern go down here. Easy peasy.
Yeah, I think we're still on battle speed 1. I don't think Soleras changed their battle speed, which is pretty impressive. I'd certainly much rather see this Wyvern here than at the second spot. We do see Fleury getting through underground. I believe almost 2 minutes right behind Soleras, so pretty much right on his heels. And that's a Rosa for Soleras, and that is an Octomam in that second dwarf spot.
Run buffering can absolutely be a fantastic skill to know. Learning run buffering can make the difference between completing a Wyvern at battle speed 1 here, like a Soleras did, versus, you know, bumping down to like battle speed 4 or something to make sure that you get a Star Veil off. What run buffering does is anytime there's a box at the top of the screen, like is going on Soleras' screen right now, even though it's the end of the fight. So anytime like a text box comes up, all ATB is frozen. So that can give you kind of a minuscule amount of time to go get some inputs in, and you can run buffer in and out of any commands that you select to kind of give you more of like an input advantage, I want to say. Otherwise, you have to kind of bump down your battle speed so you don't get those ATB ticks. Oh man.
And there's objective found. You love to see it. It means, you know, our runners will, I would have to think, more than absolutely going to be checking that music, you know, unless for some reason they decide to do, you know, we get the freebie, we get a legend sword, and maybe do a Sheila check. But no, the music is happening tonight, so you love to see it.
I'm just waiting for the Earth Crystal to be in Feymark, and it just be like the jettiest jet seed you could ever imagine.
I mean,
if the Earth Crystal leading to Tella is in Feymark, I'll retire after the end of this tournament.
I mean, getting down, you know, underground in 30, you know, a little over 35 minutes is pretty insane on a bracket seed. This really is turning out to be a very jetty seed. With a lot of just rude bosses, you know, out of the way early. You know, free bosses too, but, you know, there's no Kenazo. Golbez is off the table. Even Octomam, you know, if you find him at the, you know, in a lunar spot, can be very tough. Trying to think who else we've seen. But yeah, we're looking like this is pretty jetty.
Yeah, we've gotten pretty much rid of all the rude bosses. Soleras is kind of sticking to that. Hey, let's get my objectives done. We're gonna hear music soon, so chat. You know what to do.
While we wait on Soleras, Fleury is pretty much, you know, following Soleras right in his footsteps. You know, checking that dwarf, going to be getting music. So, you know, if music turns into a, you know, required key item or leads down a rabbit hole that leads to a required key item, the good thing is it's going to be leading Fleury in that direction as well.
So one thing I kind of disagree with Soleras' choice here is not checking those free checks. Checking those free checks have kind of bit me in the butt in the past. Checking Feymark's pretty quick, and doing that Sheila 1 check can be pretty quick as well. And you get the added benefit of immediately going to Twin Harp with 1 HP people. You have Virus on your Palom. You can just knock your party out really quick if you've already got everybody pretty low. Looks like Fleury is going back up as well to check that Twin Harp. I'd kind of personally check this, check these free items as well in case we run into a pan. Like a pan at at Feymark would be huge. Super advantageous. Could completely change the game if somebody were to go there first. But it looks like we're going to see dual Twin Harp checks.
Wow, and Fleury, decides to go out of his way first to go to Silvera, and goes to the armor shop and immediately is rewarded with the cursed ring. So that is just a huge pickup for Fleury right now.
Yeah, definitely. That cursed ring can absolutely carry. It can prove to be a huge advantage over your opponent if they don't ever find one in a chest. That's a pretty big pickup right there. That can make up a fair bit amount of time. But we're about to get the music, so let's listen, see what we got. All right, I just want to say a huge shout out to D-Mist for being here. That's another key item check that we may get. Let's see. I want to see the pass show up. The pass at D-Mist, and this lead into... Let's go Earth Crystal. Aw, Baron Key. That's fine too. I guess that's a character check, right?
Yeah, it is absolutely another character check. And with that music, Cave Magnus, that's objective number 2 now. So we are a Legend Sword and Adamant or a Tela away from Go mode. So we could be very well having Go mode, under an hour. But Eddie's about to have a reprisal, so I'm going to be quiet while Eddie plays a reprisal.
All right, well, looks like that Legend Sword being at D-Mist is pretty important.
Yeah, this is a hard required Cave Magnus. So it's even more fascinating to me that both the runners decided to take the same exact route. To your point earlier, not checking the freebie at the Fey March, not talking to Yang at Sylph Cave. What do you think the rationale is here? Obviously, both of them have something in mind that they're doing that. For me, I'm in that mindset to at least check the Fey March freebie. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you think the thinking is here.
What would be going through my mind at this point is I know Yang is Sand Ruby character. If I find the Sand Ruby Feymark, it's a bust. I have an unknown character at Baron Inn. I can go do, or not Baron Inn, Baron Castle. I can go do the Baron check really quick. I've got a Foo. I've got a pretty stacked party, to be honest. This party is really dang good. My kind of thought process here is just follow that trail. Twin Harp led to that Baron Key. If Adamant or Tella shows up here, we're almost in go mode. We don't have moon access yet, but if a Tella and a Darkness or a Tella and a Pass show up here, this could be an extraordinarily close race because Fleury is not that far behind Soleras, but Fleury also has an advantage of an X-Cal over Soleras. That could make up a ton of time in the Zeroma's fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Fleury, I believe, still does have to check that, miss key item as well. Does not have the Legend Sword lit up. I have to imagine has that memory, will remember to go check that. Right, because if say Adamant is here, then, it's also kind of awkward to have go mode, but then not have a way to get the Z yet. I kind of want to see that, to be honest, knowing that we still have to hunt for a Darkness Crystal or a Pass.
Definitely.
Well,
speaking of, so if this is Pass or Darkness, this is going to be an extraordinarily close race.
This is just absolutely insane right now. So our runners are they have Tella, so I can't imagine going to be taking Tella. Going to have go mode, going to have their crystal. Actually, Soleras is going to be ditching that Palm. Thought about it for a second. I don't dislike the move. I actually think it's a very good move. I don't think you need Palm at this point when you're looking for a Z-ready party.
Yeah, and this is a possible 9 key items. Do you go look for that 10? Do you go to Feymark? Do you check to see if you get another key item to get that 10? Or do you just go? What's your play here?
Oh, I absolutely go check that 10th key item. Get that double XP boost. We have Sirens. We can grind eggs. But just getting that 10th key item just enables us to go that much faster. Now, do I check, would I go past the fame? There comes a point where it just becomes too much of a time investment, but I at least check that Fey March freebie.
Fair. So if you don't find a key item here, what's your play? Do you go check Sheila 1? Do you go grind?
I still think you check Sheila 1, honestly.
You're still looking for that access.
Yeah, I like I said, it becomes a point where how much time do you spend? But it exponentially speeds up your grind having access, having that 10th key item. For me anyway, I kind of wonder, what would be your play?
My play here is, if I find the 10th key item, I'm going to go get Sirens, I'm going to do my grind, and then I'm going to go look at Sheila 1 for that 10th key item. Fleury is still only at 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, still only at 8. Gonna get 9 right here. More than likely get 10 at Feymark. Do you go do the tower? Or do you land on your own airship?
Well, I think Soleras says, not a fan of the Enterprise, but realizes that he still does need it to have access to the hovercraft to buy more of those Sirens. So I think, decides against at the last minute destroying his own Enterprise. But it does bring up an interesting point, yeah, we're at 10 key items, but how do you do a quick check for the pass at Sheila 1, or do you say, well, you know what, I kind of forget, we still need access to Z. We don't have a darkness crystal, so we need to find some way to get to Z here.
So if I were in this position, I would go grind, get my sirens, go do my grind as much as I could, and then go knock out my key item checks. Soleras having to go back through Feymark, mismenuing and buying the wrong thing. So this kind of gives Fleury a little bit of catch-up time here.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I would be grinding, and then I would go do my free check, and I would most likely just do tower key only. Unless it turned up to be nothing, and then I'd probably end up going back and getting bit in the butt. But with that tower key, I'm kind of like, I gotta go. I gotta go check the tower key. It's a relatively quick check versus the other checks. You can check Feymark bosses, which we're about to see here by Fleury. We have Antlion and Mylon, where I personally wouldn't take any of these fights. I would just go up the tower, do the quick check there. It looks like Fleury may do that. We could see Darkness and Pass on each of these bosses in Feymark, and that'd be pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, Fleury we see going to be going for that Sheila 1. Soleras, looks like going to be getting their sirens. Be very curious where they go, but yeah, that little bit of mismenuing does really put Fleury and Soleras, I would say, kind of neck and neck. Maybe Fleury with a slight advantage now at this point. It's kind of hard for me to say who has the real advantage at this point.
It's really going to come down to who finds what first. If we find Darkness Crystal at Sheila 1 or the Pass at Sheila 1, it could be a game changer for Fleury. If you find Darkness Crystal at Sheila 1 and say the Pass at Mylon at Ashura, Soleras kind of has an advantage there, because Soleras doesn't have to do really anything besides just go. But 13 sirens kind of gives Soleras an advantage here.
Okay, so we'll
see how things go.
This has been so jetty. Like, we have not had time to really talk about anything. So I real quick want to give a shout out to our tracker, Taven Games, and to our restreamer, Crimson Avix, and also a shout out to my co-commentator, Couch, who is joining me tonight. And this has just been a absolute whirlwind, but fun race to commentate tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout outs to everybody behind the scenes. Shout outs to Lady as well for doing co-commentary. That white robe being Sheila 1 item is pretty unfortunate. I like this play by Fleury. Getting that most likely just tower key check out of the way. CPU at the Lugay spot's pretty slow. But yes, huge shout outs to just the Free Enterprise community in general. Y'all are fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So if this tower key is a bust, do you then just walk back up and take that CPU since you're already here? Like, is that faster? Even with the HP that spot has, you could try some, maybe YOLO strats just to power your way through it. I wonder if that's faster than going to that Feymark spot, which does have 2 checks in it.
If I'm Fleury, because I have an Xcal, yes. Xcal will help that CPU fight exponentially. I've got Medio on Fu, Medio, and just Zerk my Cecil, and just you get through that fight on the quicker side. Soleras not having that Xcal is going to prove to be pretty rough.
Yeah, so I see chat talking about some low-level strats, so it kind of makes me wonder, is Soleras going to grind up all the way or are we going to see some low-level strats from either one of our runners?
Judging by the amount of sirens Soleras has, I think we're going to see just full grind here from Soleras with 10 key items, just grind and go. I personally don't know the low-level strats. I can't really comment too much on them. I really need to learn them. But I really can't say too much into them.
Yeah, you know, I personally, I like grinding. You know, it's a safer option. There's less risk, you know, in play. You know, I do wonder too, like, what's the time investment of a low level strat versus grinding? But you know, at the end of the day, it's faster. Although, you know, it also comes down to, which both these runners are just fantastic at, is, you know, the fact that they know enough to grind to what makes it doable, and, you know, not, maybe I want to say overgrind, but they're going to do enough sirens to get their party Z ready enough.
Yeah, definitely. Soleras is already pretty ready to go with Food and Friends. Tower key coming up empty. Flurry doing a quick reset. I think we'll see a Feymark dive here. Oh, no, saved at the tower, so we're going to see the CPU go. Soleras is going to go check Sheila 1, come up empty. I feel Flurry has a minor advantage here at this point. Already done more checks, knows what has to and has not to be done. Soleras is going to be coming up empty with this Sheila 1 check. We're going to see the save just for safety on Flurry's side. Probably won't be needed having Medio on that X-Cal, but just to be safe. We could see Foo and Friends strats from Flurry. Bumping that battle speed. Looks like back up. I wasn't too sure. I couldn't really see. Baron Basement has not been checked as well. That could be a free fight too. We don't have many left, but that could be one as well. We know where our glasses are, so if we see Baron guards or the Kaipo guards, that could be a pretty easy free check as well.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy that, you know, we hit go mode. I want to say what, maybe 10 minutes ago, maybe probably a little bit less, and we're just desperately just hunting around, just trying to find a darkness crystal, trying to find a pass, and you know, both runners just taking the pretty much the same exact route. Soleras, you know, is a little behind, but only because I feel, you know, they chose to do their grind first. Now, interestingly, Soleras is going to be doing top of tower first, skipping over that tower key. So if this is go mode here, or not go mode, but this is a darkness or a pass. This is very interesting.
That's a big heads up play by Soleras, going to top first versus doing the tower. Again, I feel Flurry has a bit of an advantage here with that X-Cal. You're seeing just a ton of damage being thrown out by Cecil here, whereas on Soleras' side, we don't see too much. Fu not even taking, like, barely 1,000 damage from that Globe 199. This fight's going to be over pretty quick on Flurry's side. We may see a bit slower on Soleras' side. We'll see if we see a Medio or not. I'd probably queue up a Medio and just kind of go ham on the CPU and leave the defender alone if I was Soleras. But that's just kind of me.
That's my. Well, okay, that took the wind out of anything I was going to say. Other than, how about, would you like all 5 objectives done before we even have Z access? I don't know that I've ever seen this in a race before, ever. I mean, I'm sure you've seen a lot in your time, but, you know, in my short time with Free Enterprise, I have never seen all 5 objectives done in a tournament race before a darkness crystal, before a pass.
I like this play by Flurry. I like the basement check because we know that the Feymark lower bosses are pretty rough. I'd almost like to see a save, and if this item isn't any good, or if the boss is going to be really rough, really like to see a Earth Crystal check.
Yeah, I like this Baron play too more than the Earth check, just because of how long it takes to run up Zot. But you know, and the fact that you don't need any other characters at this point. I mean, you have everyone you need. You have a Rosa, you have a Cecil, you have a Fu. Finding another free fight in that Baron basement.
Watch it.
You want to explain
like...
the mechanics behind this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So in vanilla, this fight is determined by if you have Paladin Cecil in your party or not, and it's basically after the second kick, you can attack with Paladin Cecil, and the fight ends. In vanilla, that spot has 4,000 HP, so you can kill the boss. Like, you can kill Yang beforehand. But it's kept the vanilla script, so if you do attack with Paladin Cecil, say a very high HP spot like the Element spot, you can end the fight really quick. I think Fleury's going for Zot here. I like it. I really like this play. Zot is kind of a check. We're going to leave the Falcon here. This is fantastic. I love this. There's a bridge, so we can make our way over there, so we don't have to land down there later. We're going to throw a save, and we're going to go up the tower. I actually really like this play. It's going to be quick. You have an Excal Cecil on Fleury's side. You have a Fu. The Magus Sister spot has roughly 9,000 HP total, and the Val spot has like 4K. You're going to blow through these fights really quick. And you have a possible anchor pickup. I really, really, really like this play by Fleury. Soleras going to find absolutely nothing but a white robe here. I wonder if Soleras will take this white robe and go with it, or they'll just reset. I'm not quite sure.
I would. If they saved, which I did check, if they saved right outside, the cannon room, I would reset out of it just to make up just that little bit of time. Because if I'm either one of these runners, and I can't imagine, being in their heads at their caliber, but I would just be just kind of having a panic moment right now, like just seeing bust after bust here, and just thinking, oh my goodness, where is this darkness? Where is this pass? And thinking, did the other runner do Fey March yet? That's something I'm going to be very interested to see. Now, this is, speaking of interesting, here is a alt gauntlet here that won't go. Do you take this, or do you reset out at this point?
Me personally, I absolutely take it. Soleras is going to take that pro ring, and I do not dislike it. Soleras is going to probably go check out that Mylon at Ashura spot, because Antlion at Leviathan can be exceptionally rude. But as Fleury, I do take this fight. I've already committed to Earth Crystal. I have to take it. And if this pays off for Fleury, it pays off. And if it pays off for Soleras, it pays off. It's kind of a catch-22. You've made that dive choice. You have to stick with it. You can't be wishy-washy and go like, oh, I gotta go check Earth Crystal. No, I gotta go check Famemark. You have to go with what you go for at this point in the game. You're basically in go mode. You have to find your way to the moon. It could prove to be advantageous. Fleury could find the pass here, and Soleras could find the Darkness Crystal, and that could end up making this race completely even.
Yeah, I saw chat pointed that out too, and I would love to see that. I mean, it would just put the cherry on the top of this very fun race. I mean, this deserves just a nail biting finish at this point. And seeing the way this is going, I would not at all be surprised if that's the case.
Yeah, just Fleury finding the pass here and Soleras finding the Darkness Crystal would literally make this like one of the closest races we've seen this tournament. The time makeup that Fleury would get from getting the pass here to Soleras finding the Darkness Crystal here would make the Zeroma's fight so close. It's really kind of tough to call even at this point, especially if that happens, what has been kind of talked about.
Yeah, I have to be honest. I've kind of lost my words at the moment here. Just wondering, like, how is this gonna go here? Chat, kind of going, a little bit, theory crafting. Like, what if this is Luca Key, or Pan, or this doesn't necessarily have to be Darkness or Pass here. We could go down another, a small rabbit hole, but a rabbit hole nonetheless.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Luca Key could still show up. Pan could still show up. Those are two items that could kind of lead us down a different path. Again, it could lead us to a Darkness Crystal. Pan has 2 more checks after grabbing it. But we'll see what kind of shows up here.
Well, speaking of another, character, on any other seed, you would just be absolutely delighted to have, knowing that we have that mass immune. But here, it's just, it's not something. Although Fleury deciding to take that edge over that Kane, that's very interesting. Deciding has a full moon to has a mass immunity, has the gear to really kind of kid him out. What's your thoughts on this play? We do just see Soleras just picking up a spoon from that Mylon fight. So the hunt continues here. It's pretty wild here to see how this is going to go. Soleras now heading into this antlion fight, which is just a very punchy antlion at this spot. Going to need to get those blinks up very quickly. Is down to just a Rosa and a Cecil. Cecil, bringing that food back up. Fleury gets through that Ogopogo here at Zot, which is a boss we wanted to see at a different location, is very non-threatening here. Going to be getting their check in just one moment to see if this is our. Yep, and there's the Darkness Crystal. That's it.
All right.
Fleury is on his way.
That's a go mode for Fleury, but if we find a pass here at Antlion, that gives a huge advantage to Soleras here.
Yeah, you really want to see the pass here if you're Soleras. I mean, if not, then it's pretty much Fleury's. It's Fleury's race to lose, and I don't, frankly, I'm not sure how he could lose it at this point, given the power of his team.
I mean, Zeromas can be kind of sketchy sometimes.
That's very true.
Can get some turns here and there, depending on how you anchor if you anchor properly, or depending on what kind of strat you go for. It can be pretty rough.
Yeah, especially if he decides not to do a full grind, but just just take 3 or 4 sirens. I think does buy a stack if I saw that right, but just could be buying a stack just because it's quicker and easier than menuing into a handful. I mean, you have the money, you're not spending money on anything else at this point, so why not just buy a stack? Don't know how many he's going to be deciding to use here.
Yeah, we're only going to see a pretty small grind from Fleury. So we might see Fu and Friends. We might see 2 Zerkers. We're looking for, I want to say maybe Coffins? Bacchus Wine's great find right there. So it looks like we're going to get Zerkers online and go. But if we find the pass here on Soleras' side, it could be a huge game changer because Soleras already has quite a few levels over Fleury.
Yeah, that's a great point. Fleury still does have to do his grind. Now, looks like he's going to be opting to take that on the moon, which, makes sense. It's going to be, I would think quicker. I would have to imagine it's going to be grinding for gold dragons here, which, I think would probably only have to take maybe 2 encounters to get his fight Z ready.
Yeah, it's not going to be too much on gold dragons. 2 to be comfortable, 3 to be more on the safe side. Soleras is kind of hurting here in the outline fight. Those counters are pretty rough, and Cecil only having that ogre axe, that's rough. The X-Cal has been proven to be advantageous over on Fleury's side.
Yeah, Soleras really needs to pick up the pass from this. Just does get through that antlion though. So if this is pass, this makes things very close. But that is not a pass, unfortunately. So we have one path now, and that's through the darkness crystal now at this point, unfortunately.
It seems right now like it's Fleury's trace to lose. We could see a possible issue in Zeromas here, but we're going to see Soleras basically save up here, go get that check out of the way, and grab their darkness crystal. Not going to be too far behind Fleury. It's still going to be pretty close in the end.
Yeah, the fact that he already has his grind done, but you keep going back to what you point out is that he does not have that X-Cal, so it's just so it's so tough to kind of call. He can still catch up, but I don't know. It's still looking more and more like this is Fleury's race to lose. If it's me calling it.
I mean, the good news about a Fleury win is we get to see more racing. And who doesn't want to see more racing from these 2 awesome runners? Like, come on. These 2 runners are fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we have to see more. It's what everyone wants. Fleury finishing, as a semifinalist last year, I believe finished second last year in the previous tournament. So, something that I think everyone would want to see him progress. At least give us a true best of 3 matchup here.
Yeah, definitely. I love it when races end up being, best of 3 and actually, being best of 3 versus, somebody winning one and just going on. But just everybody that's made it to the brackets, they're just fantastic racers. They absolutely deserve to be here, and just everybody in the community, the skill ceiling has absolutely skyrocketed since, I first started playing this randomizer. Everybody's got so good.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this, before the race started, but yeah, just talking about how good everyone is. I've only been around since, I've been watching since Zima Zone 3, but everyone is just so amazing at this game. The good thing is, the best part is just this amazing community and how good everyone is, and how much welcoming the community is, and how willing everyone shares their knowledge of the game. It's something that if somebody learns a certain strategy or learns a new mechanic, they're going to share it with the entire community. So everyone has a chance to pick up on the same mechanics, the same knowledge that another runner would pick up on.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that everybody shares what's going on skill-wise in the community and not kind of hiding it for themselves, it's really great to see. Like, people find, like Eddie strats or 1200 strats, or like it. People not hiding strats is definitely fantastic to see. It makes competition better, and overall, it's just great for racing. Like, it makes people go, oh, hey, okay, I can do this, cool. Now let me take out the person who actually came up with the strat. Like, I don't know. That's kind of my take on it.
No, absolutely. I mean, look, this is a big reason why I joined the community, was how welcoming this community is, and the fact that everyone helps out one another. If you're struggling with the concept, people will jump in. We do have a Discord that people can join, and like I said, share that knowledge and talk with one another. So if you're not already part of the Discord, if you're thinking about getting into this, absolutely jump into it. It's very easy to jump into this, randomizer. I think it's just the ease of use and the ease of, just getting into it is just so free and really just very fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lost in all of that, I also want to point out that Fleury, I believe did get off a double life glitch on that last set of double dragons, because I did see 240,000 XP from that, because normally if you pull off only one life glitch, which someone like me would only typically do, you're getting 180,000 XP. But yeah, it's just Fleury of his caliber knowing how to pull off that double life glitch just with ease.
I mean, to be fair,
twice.
Like, to be fair, I'm quote unquote the 4 seed, and I don't even really know how to do that. So, like, the skill ceiling in this game is so ridiculously high. Everybody in this bracket seed is pretty evenly matched, IMO. I mean, you have these outliers like Dusty or Dia, these big names who always win. Man, I don't have words. Like, everybody, like I keep saying, everybody is so good. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Fleury, is a 23 seed, it really is mind blowing to me. And yeah, it does speak to your point that everyone's so evenly matched. Okay, I've lost words too now. It's just, yeah.
Words are hard, all right.
Words are very hard, yes. But, we do get to hear that, absolutely amazing lunar subterranean music, which means that we're starting to see some of these Z flags pop up in chat. So, I think it's almost time to see, I believe we're heading to the final boss, if I remember this game correctly.
I don't know. It kind of looks like everybody's pretty tired to me. Are y'all bored or what? What's up? What's going on? Chat, talk to me.
We just keep seeing Z flags in response. We're not really getting an answer to that question. So I think there's another question they're wanting us to ask. I'm gonna leave that question up to you.
Well, the good question is, whose butt are you gonna kick tonight / today, depending on where your time zone is? See, everybody also asks, who is butt? And everybody asks, how is butt? How are you doing? How is everybody doing in chat?
That's a very thoughtful question of you. Oh,
Chat, how are y'all doing? You excited? What's up? Tell me. Spam comments, come on.
all right. Well, we see the crystal pop out. We see we see one of my actually favorite Z sprites. We see Birdomus from Super Mario 2, Super Mario Brothers 2. This is a fantastic one. It's simple, but it always gets a great chuckle out of me.
Yeah, Birdo is legit the best character in Mario. Don't at me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see, Fleury nerfs the Big Bang. Did Bacchus that Cecil putting out about 3,400 HP, or I'm sorry, 3,400 damage to that Z. Is going to be having a pretty comfortable Z fight, I would say. I would have to imagine may still have to nerf some of these Big Bangs, or maybe we'll only see one more. I'm not sure. I mean, do you think it's only one more Big Bang? Do you see two?
At this point, I see just barely even one more. We got an X-Cal Cecil, we got Fu, we got a mostly powered Rosa, we got an Edge who's probably going to be Dart and stuff. That X-Cal Cecil is going to carry, though. Cecil is just so strong when you can get him an actual good weapon.
Yeah, I mean, we see 4,600 pop out from him. Soleras, interestingly enough, decides, probably wanted some more levels on that Rosa, decides to take a couple more eggs, opting not to go for the Gold Dragons. Probably feels like he only needs a couple here to get Rosa, to a comfortable place, which I don't, I don't dislike. I think it's a safe option.
Another kind of advantage Fleury has is finding that curse ring. Soleras not having a curse ring, meaning that they need to have another character that's going to stay down pretty much through the whole Zeroma's fight. Whereas Palom may survive that first Big Bang, may not survive that second, obviously, but that first Big Bang, Palom can stay up and bring up or heal anybody that needs to be healed. This is pretty much going to be the solo Cecil show. The food's going to be here for healing. We're just going to see X-Cal Cecil go ham. That Edge doing some okay work. We see a black hole here. But yeah, that curse ring on Palom is definitely going to prove to be advantageous.
Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of time before that other Big Bang comes out, but could you still see a wipe here from Fleury? Given that, we could see another Big Bang, we could possibly see a Big Bang into Meteo here if Rosa doesn't get that Cure 4. I'm just very interested to see
if that nuke had been another target besides Cecil, possibly I'd have seen a death here. But being a Meteo phase, Fu casting up a Cure 4, we're gonna see a crack boom here in any second here.
Yeah, this is very comfortable now. Getting the Cure 4, getting double Cure 4 off. This is a very safe end to this fight.
Yeah, had that nuke maybe taken out Fu, it would have been a little hairier. But as we see here, a crack boom from Fleury. Fleury tying it up 1-1. This is fantastic. I love seeing more racing. I hope chat does as well. This is amazing. No disdain to Soleras at all. Soleras put in great work. Both these runners are fantastic in every means of the word. But yeah, this was a great race to watch. I'm glad I got to commentate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Fleury finishing, with an official race bot time of 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 19 seconds. And we are actually joined by Fleury now. GG, Fleury.
Yeah, GG's.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I hear your sighs of relief there.
yeah. What an absolute jet seed with a wild finish. I mean, just what are you feeling right now?
Boy, when I first saw that I was possibly going into the hook route with 3 people, and I saw the sparkle there, I'm like, no game. You did not, for the second time in a row, give me Evil Wall into Ogo to start off the second stage. Uh, ugh, that was tough. But yeah, that was a weird one. It's like, here's go mode. So I'm thinking, all right, I gotta start going through my head how I'm gonna pull off 1200 HP with Food and Friends. Like, do I need 10 star bales or 15? I count your threes, and you start doing 1 check, and then 2 checks, and then 3 checks, and 4. And it's like, wait a minute, wait a minute, Darkness Crystal. Oops, there's objective number 5. Don't need that. And then by the time I did get the Darkest Crystal, I was like, all right, well, I mean, I can just do nice 2 and be fine. But yeah, that's a little concerning when you not only have go mode and you have like 2 pretty plain ways to get it, and you pull the moon axe or Z access that late. It's a little troubling, but it worked out. Thank you, Castle Eblin.
I know, right? Speaking of Castle Eblon, what was your thought when you pulled that X-Cal?
There's always one in Castle Eblin. There always seems to be a holy sword. I've done it 3 times at the tournament. I've won 3 for 3.
Fair.
So I actually, funny thing, when I think it was an earlier match where I think Possum had mentioned that the odds of tier 7 are actually higher in Eblin Castle than Sylph Cave, and I was like, I didn't expect that. So that just kind of reinforced. If you don't have a weapon, you have a hook route, and you see a boss that might take some time, I think it's kind of worth it. Now, was it for that hook route? Probably not with D-Lunar. Was it for the whole seed? I think so.
Yeah, that X-Cal proved to be absolutely beneficial. It carried you in some fights over where Soleras was missing it and was lacking that extra damage. And I think I may steal that strategy from y'all to kind of get a jump on you.
I mean, it's something I would have liked to have had money to buy the curse ring earlier.
Yeah.
I generally like to do my trap chest run with RA1 Quake or something like that, so it's super fast. But I mean, I think it's worth it if you feel like you aren't gonna do a whole bunch of checks and you have a Cecil or someone else who can benefit from that equipment, and he did, and that was probably, I would imagine, one of the main turning points of the seed.
So I have a question for you. I'm very interested. We were talking about how actually you and Soleras, both when you get underground, you both beeline it for Dwarf Castle, and then after you get that Twin Harp, you go right for that objective. So I guess what makes you go for Dwarf first? And then kind of, along those same lines, what makes you kind of skip that Fey March freebie and go right for the objective then too?
For me, Dwarf Castle was curse ring money. I knew one was in Solvera. I know Dwarf Castle gives you about 20k, maybe a little more. So the plan was Dwarf Castle, get the curse ring, and then if there's a feasible boss for me to just RA1 X-Cal all over it, then great. If not, I'll bail, but I'll still have RA1 X-Cal for the tower. So Dwarf first was basically just to get money. And then once we got Twin Harp, I was like, okay, I can't pass up freebies any longer. Like, I gotta check them. And yeah, they were all kind of duds.
Yeah, was there a point where you're thinking, Soleras might have checked something, that you didn't, maybe went to the Fey March a little sooner and is on his way to Z? Are you thinking, he's kind of in lockstep with you? Because he basically pretty much was up until the last, last check.
A little bit, but I don't feel like this skill gap between us is so big insofar that I have to go out of my way to like make a huge gamble on that end. So I felt like coming in, just play my game, do what I think is going to be most efficient for me. When I watch Soleras play, he's exceptionally talented and is just as good as I am. So not if I do anything crazy, I'm not good at gambling. So just do what I do. And if I believe Soleras had taken the Fey March fights, boy, Milan and Friends is a hard sell for me. That's even with Excal, it's so long. And Antlion at Leviathan, no. But
Yeah,
I
Soleras and I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, but you were right. Like the thought, in general, when you get go mode that early and you make that many checks and you don't have Z access, I think that thought kind of creeps into pretty much any racer.
Yeah, Couch. You have any questions?
Yeah, actually, I have a pretty big question. How are you feeling knowing that the next game is elimination for whoever wins or loses? How are you feeling? You feeling like you have a leg up, knowing that you have a win going into this next match, or you feeling kind of nervous?
No, it's another free enterprise game. That's all it is.
Fair enough.
If
Fair
I
enough.
win, great. I'll get to play another good racer. If I don't, Soleras is fantastic, and I'll start playing more on the ladder. That's
a great
that's
attitude.
really all it is.
Love it. That's fantastic.
Yeah, there's we're here to have fun. If I do good enough to make a deep tournament run, I've already been fortunate to have a couple, then fantastic. If not, like, there's not too much of a point in getting nervous about it. So, and anytime I think I'm getting too good, I can always just play like a different randomizer and realize how bad I am. So
fair enough.
So, yeah, like I just got eliminated from Worlds Collide, so I was like, yeah, that was pretty humbling. So, all right, yeah, it's just another game, We're just
exactly.
gonna have fun.
I love the take. I love the attitude. That's been my attitude since I entered this tournament. I was like, I won't make it past Swiss. I'll be all right. I'll just have fun with it. And here I am. Just I hear you. I just enjoy having fun, and it's good to have fun again instead of being burnt out and like mad at the game. Whereas I play a seed against somebody and I'm just having fun.
Yep, I think that's really all you can do. If you're not having fun with the game, you should probably re-examine that or not play.
Exactly. That's absolutely true. When you stop having fun, that's when you should take a look at yourself and go, I need to step back.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, GG's again. Fantastic run. I can't wait to see your next race. It's been amazing watching y'all run.
You won't have to wait long. It is tomorrow.
Oh baby!
Yeah, I'm gonna hop out and watch this Penguinator PK match, and yeah, you guys, I appreciate all the time that goes into making this little engine we call Free Enterprise run, and it is very much appreciated. And catch you next time.
Yeah, GG's to you. Thank you for an amazing race.
Thanks, y'all. Have a good one.
All right, we got Soleras kind of stuck in berserk mode here. It looks like we may be hitting rocks here a little bit soon. That shake is a little scary. We might see a big bang here that might wipe. It could be pretty rough, but it looks like we're seeing rocks fall. Rose is more than likely going to go down, depending on the roll here. But we should be pretty much in the clear. Gonna hold that A button down. That phase tip was definitely pretty good. You're gonna see a jump here. We're gonna see rocks fall more than likely again. Cecil may go down. All right, got that
dodges
jump.
or just takes just
dang.
enough damage to not wipe. Yeah, that's amazing.
It's always terrifying when you see that happen, but we see the shake, we see the done. GG Soleras. This was such a great race to commentate. I love when races are like this instead of just, oh no, they all got go mode, we're done. I love route divergence. I love the mystery of, hey, who's gonna get what, who's gonna get where and when. And speaking of where and when, what's up, Soleras? GG's.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah, what just an amazing race, by you. You and Fleury were pretty much lockstep up until, the Fey March check. So, how are you feeling coming off this fight and coming off this race right now?
I feel good. So, couple things. First of all, my brain thought I was in go mode, which is sort of informed why I just ran down to the Fey March, grabbed the key item, and bolted. But it was when it was after I didn't buy sirens and reset and was going back to buy sirens. I sort of reevaluated because I had some time to think. I was like, oh, okay, I actually need Z access. So I guess at this point it's just go check all of the things. And it sounds like when I saw that Fey March, I was like, well, I did a grind. I probably should have done more of a grind, but I did a grind. I don't know if Fleury will do these. It kind of feels like a coin flip at this point. I guess I'll just do these. And that didn't pay out, but aside from that reset and the choices that were informed by, my brain thinking the wrong thing, I feel pretty good about that race. I think I played it well.
Yeah, I mean, you were really in lockstep with him the entire race. I would say the difference kind of came down to Fleury managed to snag an X-Cal out of Eblin Castle, which really kind of carried him. But after you hit, technical go mode, it was really a race between you two as who was going to get Z access first. Fleury got his by going up, through Zot. Actually, was that go mode through Zot?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So got that access through Zot. While you were taking those the Fey March fights, but before that, you both were treading, pretty much following each other's footsteps. It was actually really entertaining to watch and really entertaining to see.
Yeah, I think one of my biggest takeaways from this run is that X-Cal showing up in Eblon Castle was just it helped so much for Fleury. It kind of makes me want to do Eblon Castle now in my next races.
That castle can pay out very well. It's 40, 30, 30 for tier 5, 6, and 7. Of course, you have to hit also an item that's actually useful for your party, but yeah, when it hits really hard.
Yeah, definitely. But even in general, without that, it was such a fantastic race. You both played so amazingly well. What was your thought seeing a double sparkle going into that underground access? Were you thinking, hey, I'm gonna have to do Ogo, or were you thinking, oh, I'm good?
I was mentally preparing for Ogo. Literally any other choice was just going to be easier. Pale Dim would have been annoying because of all the slow counters, but I didn't even have access to Berserk anyways. Actually, no, Pale Dim would have been more annoying because my best damage was white from Fu.
Fair enough.
So yeah, Ogo was definitely the worst case scenario, but it was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna throw my head into it and see what the heck happens.
Yeah, definitely. You both played fantastic. I cannot wait for this next race. It's going to be amazing to watch. Do you have any idea what you feel your best play was at the seed?
Oh, I love that question. My best play, I think. Oh, I'm very happy with how Baigen went at Baron in 2 because that spot is very rude and very punchy, and there are 3 attackers, and I have 3
Yeah.
party members, and this exact encounter came up before in my practice, and I realized I could run buffer my way through it, and it was I had a worse party than that the time I did that before, so sort of revalidating. I had better defense this time, but I'm not sure I would have survived that without run buffering or having turned the battle speed down, so I'm really happy with how I did that.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I did notice you pulled out, a good number of run buffers, which really helped out, and really just such a treat to watch. I'll be honest, I haven't been able to, or just haven't seen as many of your, as your races. I know you're, an excellent runner in the community, but until seeing this, just saw firsthand, just how great and how efficient you can run a seed. I asked this of Fleury. I'll ask this of you just to see if your answers kind of match up. But what was your kind of thought process once you got underground, hitting Dwarf first and kind of fading that Fey March freebie until after doing music?
I wanted an upgrade in character, literally anything. It's also a chance to see Tella. I mean, we had Fu, and Fu is strong, but that team needed help pretty quickly, either with an X-Cal as a key item, or I would have loved an Edge. Really, any sort of help. So that was my mindset. And then once I had the key item from that, it was like, well, I think I have to commit to this play. I didn't even go to the Fey March, so let's just follow that through.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, Fleury said he went there, because he wanted the money from doing Dwarf Castle. But it was still interesting to see. I mean, you both went to Dwarf, you both faded Fey March, you both went to music. Really, just follow the same exact checks. It was just almost kind of mesmerizing in a way to see. Just
Yeah, definitely.
On the same wavelengths.
It's pretty funny.
Do you have any other questions for Soleras, Couch?
I think I'm pretty good. It was amazing watching y'all run. I cannot wait to watch this other race. You both deserve to advance further, but unfortunately only one of you can. You both are just so fantastic runners. I can't wait to see this next race. It's gonna be pretty great.
I really appreciate that. I'll say real quick, thank you so much to the Restream team. It's always appreciated, of course. And my primary goal coming out of this, no matter what happened, this is my first tournament, no matter what happened, after my last race against Zoe, I feel like I've genuinely felt my improvement, and I was just hoping to show that on the main stage, and it sounds like I did, and that's really validating. So I'm happy with this result. I can't wait for the next match against Fleury, and see what happens there. And thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for running a fantastic race. GG's to you, and good luck to you tomorrow. We do see you've already have your match scheduled for tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern, so cannot wait to see that.
Yep. Look forward to that. I certainly will.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Have a good one.
You
Bye.
too.
Okay, that was Soleras. With that win, Fleury and him both moved to 1-1. Again, game 3. Well, I guess game 2 of this best of 3 is tomorrow, 11 p.m. Eastern. Please absolutely check in for that. We are about to go over to Randomedia 2 for the Penguinator and PK 4787 race that's going on or about to go underway. So we should be going there shortly. Couch, do you have any other last thoughts on this race?
Yeah, again, just huge shout outs to the community in general. Y'all are fantastic. Go watch this race. Penguin and PK are both hugely successful runners. This is going to be one of those can't miss races. Just go hang out, have some fun, and spread the love with everyone. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, everyone on the Restream team for, just putting together, and letting us watch and commentate this amazing race. Please, if you're heading over to the next race, do not spoil the race results of this one. Keep it to yourself. But please do cheer on our runners, and we will be taking you over there. And, everyone have a great night, and thank you so much for watching.